And it's kind of like we are talking about in proteins. When too many amino acids bond together, we call that protein. Body can't use a protein, can't use a starch, and can't use a fat. That simple. So candida, don't worry about candida so much, guys. Take an herbal formula. Don't do colloidal silver. Don't isolate chemistry and expect not to have a side effect. Some of the side effects aren't apparent for a while. Now, you know that guy walking around that looks blue, not the Blue Man Group, but the one guy from colloidal silver. I mean, that's scary. So you never know the far-reaching effects of isolating chemistry here. But candida, use a parasite. Parasite M is our formula for fungal problems. But clean the sewer system out and avoid starches until you can fix your adrenal glands. Remember, cortisol is the sugar metabolism steroid. And when you're low in adrenal steroids, or cortisol particularly, then you tend to run a little hypoglycemia, a little low blood sugar, then ends up type 2 hyperglycemia. Simply means they're both the same. You don't metabolize sugars, and the fungal family is going to come in. And this is especially true if you put fruits also on top of vegetables. You're going to ferment the fruit sugars. Put watermelon on top of grains or fruit on top of cereal. You're going to ferment that fruit. Because cereals are much harder to digest than fruits, and whenever you hold up fruit sugar, it's going to ferment. Whatever you can't digest or metabolize is going to ferment, or it's going to putrefy, and so you're going to have a symptom from that. One of the symptoms is, of course, raising the blood sugar and blood alcohol level. I think I mentioned it on one of the videos, and forgive me if I repeat myself, because I just can't remember. I live in the now so much that I don't know what was yesterday. So there is that problem about living in the now, you know. What did I say? But there was a gentleman that had watermelon on top of oatmeal. He's an older guy. And later was arrested for DUI because the watermelon had fermented on top of the oatmeal, creating an elevated blood alcohol level, and I'm sure a blood sugar level. So if you're a diabetic, you want to separate all your categories, your fruits with your fruits, your vegetables with your vegetables, and I wouldn't eat anything else. So this candida problem, just take your parasite formulas, go after that lymph system, and don't even think about it twice. Just keep on going, and you'll clean your lymph system right up. This poor lady, is this a lady? Pocahontas? I would think so. Well, honey, your low blood pressure, that's your adrenal glands. And that's what I'm saying to you guys, is that we're in trouble in our kidneys and adrenals and in our colons, and that has far-reaching effects in the body, of course. And so that's the first thing right off, is that you have adrenal gland weakness. And of course that immediately tells you're sitting on top of the kidneys, and there's the kidneys with that. You have a cyst on your ovary, that right there. You're not filtering your lymph system, and of course your lymph's backing up with that. These are acids. She's scared of the sugar and candida. Please don't be. Use the parasitic formula, good antifungal. Go after that, but aggressively go after your lymph system. Increase your adrenal gland function. Stay with simple sugars. Have to have simple sugars. You can't get away from sugar, because if you do, you'll do the Atkins thing, and then you'll stroke or heart attack one day. You cannot go to a protein to avoid any of these problems, because your body... It's like using a protein for energy is like burning the walls of a house in a fireplace to keep warm. Can't do it. You don't want to go there. Atkins should have been jailed for that. You're 100 over 60. 60 is perfect. That's perfect blood pressure on the diastolic. That's your kidneys. 100, too low. And once you fix your kidneys, you might even go a little lower genetically there. But I would take an adrenal glandular or our adrenal formula or something for the adrenals to bring up the adrenal glands. Genetics, I don't know how old you are. I get a sense that you're younger, but we'll see. Forgive me if I go too fast, but I've got so many questions here. I'm doing as what I can. Listen, I appreciate all your comments, and on the spiritual video too. I really appreciate that, because I don't know quite what to let out of what is involved in the God worlds. And what we need to do to move forward here on this planet, and for you, for your next journey, because it's time to think about your next journey, even if you're young. It's time to unwind the karma. It's time to blossom in the ever-presence of the now, and the ever-presence of that which is, the Supreme Being. And joyful bliss and ecstasy, it's your right, it's who you are, and you deserve it. And so, planet's hard right now. It's a real hard planet. And the negative forces are fighting heavy, but you know what? That's nature. I mean, the two sides. We fight it in chemistry, we fight it in magnetics, we fight it all over the place. Let me see what this is. Yeah, I don't know. G. Fergus. Hey, I like you, man. You know, I like I like your comment. Yeah, they're definitely loaded up on animal meat. That's for sure. I really like your comments here. Appreciate it, my friend. That was amazing that they got my book to you overnight in Canada. That's friggin' amazing to me. So that is. Also, Crystalline Ascension, I really like you. You're great here. So I appreciate these comments. Now, a lot of comments about gallbladder and liver problems. I just want you to stop and realize that the gallbladder and the liver is nothing but cells and two fluids. Doesn't matter what their performance or function is, such as bile for fat breakdown, stuff like this. You really have to understand that it's your lymph system that breaks things down, whether it's in the liver. And generally when you see it in the liver, it's also in your bowel wall, and probably in the brother next door of the pancreas. And so even at a low level, you could have some hepatitis or inflammation in the liver and in the pancreas, some pancreatitis, and maybe some enteritis in the small bowel. This all kind of goes with that, even though sometimes you don't feel things. So to restore these, you can always use a liver formula, a pancreatic formula, but I want you to always think that behind that, these herbs are great to enhance the function of the cells, but behind that is the lymph system. And that lymph system is what's breaking down these tissues. So it always comes back. Isn't that interesting? It always comes back to this gigantic sewer system. And what happens when the kidneys can't filter it? And what happens when acidosis is allowed to stay in the body? And that anionic effect, that dehydrating, coagulating effect of this fluid that makes it so hard to move out. And it's a mucousy fluid. And you've seen that if you've gotten thickened mucus out of the sinuses or lungs. Just what happens when that fluid is allowed to get acidic too long. And of course that's just locked around the cells. Put a big blanket over your head and tie it there and see if you can breathe well. And that's what we're doing to our cells when we're backed up like that. Okay. Yeah, I really love your comments, guys. I really love your comments. Yeah, I think we all make a good team. I do. I think I feel a good bond to a lot of you guys. I love your hearts. I love your comments, and this is fun for me because you are receptive and you're growing, and we're exploring and we're going through there. I'm open to your issues and stuff and learning as well from you guys. So I've always wanted to really explode this worldwide. I feel like that's what I'm here, and it's now I see how it's possible. Again, there are some powers that be. We're working on things, and I just hope, I'm afraid to let it out. I did sign a confidentiality agreement, but we are working on a big project. Whether that gets off the ground, I don't know. It looks like it is. If it does, you'll be the first to know, and you'll be excited because I could probably use a lot of you to help me. Let's see.